What's up YouTube, this is GalacticGod, and I'm coming at you now with a video to talk to you guys about the Yata Lock. Now originally I kind of wanted to include this into one of my OTKs of the past videos, but I really didn't think that it kind of fit in with there, because although the Yata Lock can kind of make your opponent scoop on their turn and just kind of end the duel right there, it isn't necessarily an OTK. It is really just a lock. Although if you do it in a certain way, this way that I am going to show you, it is almost like an OTK, in the sense that your opponent can't really do anything after it's done, and their only recourse is really just to scoop it up and go into game 2. So what I'm going to do is show you a 3-card combo that was used back in the day when Yata-Garasu was still legal, using the cards that were available at the time when Yata was heavily played. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that now. Alright, here are the 3 cards. One thing of note is that you do have to go second to complete this combo. You will need to actually attack to initiate the lock, so you do have to go second. Going first will accomplish nothing. So, after you've gone second, the first thing you're going to do is activate the card Painful Choice. Painful Choice allows you to go into your deck, pick 5 cards out of it, reveal those 5 cards to your opponent. Your opponent selects one of those 5 cards to add to your hand, and then you send the other 4 to the graveyard. What you're going to want to do is you're going to pick at least 2 light monsters. I picked Magician of Faith just because they were heavily played at the time when Yata-Garasu was around, usually in sets of 3 in most people's decks. You want to do this just because you want to make sure at least one light monster ends up in the graveyard. So if they give you one of the Magicians of Faith, the other light monster does go to the graveyard. Next thing you want to do is pick both your Witch and your Sangan. This is really important because, if you only picked Witch or Sangan and not both of them, they could end up giving you the Witch or the Sangan, and then that would ruin the combo. You need at least one of these 2 cards in your graveyard, because essentially they are going to do the same thing. And then finally, we're going to use Dark Magician of Chaos as our last monster. It doesn't really matter what it is as long as it's a dark monster. This is important because if they select your Witch or Sangan to give to you, you want to make sure that you have another dark monster in your graveyard to remove besides the remaining Witch or Sangan that could be in the graveyard. Alright, so for this scenario, we're going to say they give us DMOC, because that probably be the most logical thing they would give us, but it really doesn't matter which card it is. Any card they give us will be perfectly fine. It doesn't matter, because one of the Witches Sangans is going to go to the graveyard. Alright, so for this instance, they're going to give us the MOC. The rest of these cards go to the graveyard, and then we can continue on with the combo. We're going to go ahead and activate Monster Reborn. We need to reborn either Witch or Sangan. For this instance, I'm just going to bring back a Witch of the Black Forest, but either card will do nicely. Alright. They're both essentially going to get us the same effect off. Alright, and finally what we're going to do is we're going to summon out our Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy of the End. We're going to do this by removing a light and a dark monster. So we're going to remove our Sangan and one of our Magicians of Faith from the graveyard to go ahead and special summon him on out. Now Chaos Emperor Dragon's got an awesome effect. You get to send all cards on both players' sides of the field and in their hands to the graveyards, leaving both players with no cards on the field and no cards in their hand. This is going to work out really good for us because when we send our Witch of the Black Forest to the graveyard along with the rest of our cards, it's going to activate her effect. Finally, we're going to get to go ahead and search out our Yata-Garasu from our deck to our hand. Now your opponent has nothing on the field, they have no cards in their hand. We can finally do our normal summon for the turn, which is our Yata-Garasu, and we can go ahead and attack. We're going to attack for 200. Yata's got an effect that states whenever you do battle damage to your opponent, they must skip their next draw phase. So now they have no cards on the field, no cards in their hand, and they cannot draw. Yata returns to your hand at the end phase since it's a spirit monster. So your opponent's going to go on their turn. They're not going to draw any card. They have no cards on the field, no cards in their hand. They cannot do any sort of plays. This is going to revert back to your turn. You can then normal summon out your Yata yet again, attack for 200. Their opponent is going to skip their next draw phase. They're now stuck in the Yata Lock, meaning they have no options whatsoever available to them. They have no cards on the field, none in their hand. They're not going to be able to draw. You're just going to keep pecking away with them with Yata-Garasu until they have no life points yet remaining. And that, my friends, is the Yata Lock. I decided to do this video because I do get a lot of my subscribers that were not around when Yata-Garasu was originally released and when it was playable in the meta. So some of them don't fully understand how powerful Yata-Garasu really was and the detriment it had on the game. So in the comment section below, let me know what you think about Yata-Garasu. Do you think this card will ever be able to come off the Forbidden List, or do you think it is deemed just too powerful to ever be released? There is no Witch, there is no Sangan, there is no Painful Choice, there is no Chaos Emperor Dragon, there is no Monster Reborn, there is no Magician of Faith to help you with this combo, but locking your opponent out of the draw phase is still such a powerful effect that I believe Yata should never come off the list. But what do you guys think? And I guess that's it for now. This is GalacticGod, out.